I'm calling to order the March 10th, 2025 meeting of the Auburn Select Board. This open meeting of the Town of Auburn Select Board is being conducted both in person and remotely, consistent with Chapters 107 of the Acts of 2022, which suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of the public bodies are allowed to participate remotely as long as reasonable public access is afforded, so the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For the public to join the meeting remotely by telephone, dial 408-650-3123 with access code 235-235-861. Or the public can join via computer at global.gotomeeting.com/join/235-235-861. All supporting materials that have been provided to the members of this body are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Please note this meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. Is there anyone else in the audience recording? Seeing none, if you are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm good. How are you?
We have no one signed up for public comment. There are no community organizations. We have no presentations or public hearings. We are starting with number 6, departmental items. The town planner, the potential vote on the adoption of the hazard mitigation plan.
Yes, thank you. 2 weeks ago, we had brought forward to you a hazard mitigation plan that had been worked on for the past over 12 months with multiple town departments, also with our consultant. And at that time, we wanted to give extra time to review the document. It was 350 pages long. So at this point, we'd like to know if we could get a vote on that document.
Do board members have any questions?
I move that the board vote to adopt the hazard mitigation plan.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair is a yes as well. We are on number 7, communications. We have none. We do have a select board general item. The Knights of Columbus have an application for a one-day beer and liquor license, a beer and wine license for the night at the races. Did you want to come up and tell us about your event? You can come up to the seat if you prefer. Okay, perfect.
My 16th time. That
you
doesn't
just
count the
give us-
2 COVID years.
Perfect. Can you just give us your name and tell us a little bit about your
My
event?
name is Joseph Butler. I'm the Monsignor Neri Council out of St. Joseph Church. And we do a fundraiser every year at St. Joseph Parish Center down the hill, and which we do a little dinner, and then we do what we call the night at the races. We actually have anybody who's been there before. We have a big track, and then we have 6 horses, and we roll dice. And that's how the horse wins. Everybody gets to bet on the horse. We have raffle prizes. We have a lottery board. So in the last 16 years, we've raised $114,000. Now, every cent of that obviously goes to 2 things. We actually give $1,000 high school scholarships to Auburn High kids, or anybody that's related to a Monsignor Neri night, and the rest goes to charity. So we've given a lot of money away. It's not an easy thing. The 2 COVID years were easy for me to do because we didn't have them. But so we're going to probably go over 100, well, probably close to 123,000 after this year. It's our goal anyway, so.
Thank you.
So,
Do board members have any questions? Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the one-day beer and wine license for the Knights of Columbus for their night at the races event.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The chair is a yes as well. Thank you so much.
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion that we waive the fee in that this is a nonprofit.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The chair is a yes as well.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. We are moving along to the town planner item. Vote to transmit the proposed zoning bylaw amendments.
Hi, good evening. Adam will be here in just a moment. We're just coming out of another meeting.
Oh, okay. Do you want to come up? Okay, perfect.
Hi.
Dr. Monarch, did you want to tell us about the proposed zoning bylaw amendment?
Yes, so there are three proposed changes this spring. Three were developed by the zoning bylaw review committee, and one was proposed by the building commissioner. One is to change the accessory apartment bylaw in reaction to the state's changes that they made last year. So it's quite a few new length of requirements the state is mandating, so this is trying to fix our bylaw to conform to that. Another section is to create a reduced frontage special permit. This will allow some infill, so if somebody wants to build a house and they only have 75 feet of frontage, which is about 25% less than what the standard frontage is for most of the districts, you could do that as long as you have 25% more of the square footage for the lot. So you would need 12,500 square feet for a lot. So it's to try to allow some infill, allow some flexibility, and this would need to be a special permit with the planning board, similar to a Hammerhead lot special permit. Let's see, delete section 9.3.6. This is regarding multifamily dwellings. This is some dated language. There's been some changes to apartments and other parts of the bylaw the last couple of years to conform with the MBTA community requirements from the state. So this is just cleaning up some kind of forgotten language to conform and to not be contradictory to other parts of the bylaw. And those three were developed by the zoning bylaw review committee. And the fourth one is proposed by the building commissioner, which is to change how the height of a building is measured. So currently, a height is measured to the tallest ceiling. So the flat part, like in this building, it would be the ceiling over there, not the peak. This bylaw change would measure to the peak of a building.
Do board members have any questions?
I have one on the accessory apartments, 9.3.12. If you look in the second paragraph, that word principal is spelt wrong.
Okay. I'll fix that.
Are there any other questions?
No, I'd make a motion that we vote to transmit the identified zoning articles to the planning board for the required public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The chair is a yes as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we have no proclamations or recognitions. We do have a gift acceptance. To DDIS for the animal shelter in honor of Beth Prouty.
Probably lost. Make a motion that we accept with gratitude a gift to the DDIS for $100 from the Fur Friends of Auburn in honor of Beth Prouty, and it is to go to the Kathleen Sabina Animal Compound.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in,
Just a note, I just wanted to say thank you to the Prouty family, because we've had several meetings now where people have been donating to the animal compound, and that's very thoughtful of them to think of that as in memory of Beth Prouty. Thank you.
there's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair is a yes as well. So we are moving along to 9A, town manager items.
Yes, thank you. Through the chair, attached is the letter to Michael Busby, the Relationship Manager for Mass Housing. That is a compilation of all of our town department concerns, resident concerns, and boarding commission concerns for the 40B project that's being proposed on Athens Street. This is forwarded to you for your review and consideration. It is due on March 18th, so once it's approved by the board and any additional changes or comments need to be added, I'll be sending that out this week.
Board members have any questions?
I had sent to the town manager a couple of additions that I had asked for, which was really just for the CC list to add the school department and the school committee. But I would like to add the library commissioners, and because these projects will impact the services they provide as well.
Thank you.
I just have a couple questions, Madam Chair. Through you, did we look at whether there were any sewer capacity issues or any extra sewer connection lines? I didn't note that as being mentioned as potential concerns for this, whether the sewer line going down Athens Road was adequate to provide connection, whether the property had the right to run an additional sewer, whether there were concerns about sewer capacity on behalf of the Auburn Sewer District.
Through the chair, I do have a response from DPW. It did not include anything regarding the sewer, which made me feel like there wasn't any issues, but I will double check with the sewer department, the division, to ensure that there aren't any issues.
Great. Yeah, I just want to, again, with these letters, I want to call everything out possible that may be. I noticed they were water related, but there was nothing specific about sewer capacity specifically. Also, I didn't know if the DPW engineers had looked at, based on some of the comments that came from the neighbors, which was great about the sight lines coming out of Athens Road onto Appleton, given the slopes. I know we called out general the Appleton at Route 20 intersection concerns, but I know there are some concerns mentioned about the Athens Road at Appleton as well. If we can, sort of nail that down, whether it's either the police department or the engineers from DPW looking at sightline, any sightline concerns, et cetera. Also noted that I didn't see anything in here related to that the neighbors had mentioned. And I know you summarized what the neighbors said, but I think for Mass Housing, it helps if our professional staff back up what the neighbors said in their comments about anything, concerns about inclement weather, ice, snow on Appleton Road, how that is a dangerous slope, and adding all these additional vehicles coming in and out would be concerns. And also, I know on the environmental, we had comments from the Conservation Commission. I was wondering if there were going to, if it was possible, again, reviewing what the neighbors had said, to really hammer home I didn't see it mentioned specifically, the stormwater coming off the hill during inclement weather, flooding of the current properties, the possible disturbance of the water table by those developments causing further damage to abutting properties, as well as the roadway.
I'll discuss those with DPW and add those in. Thank you.
I had previously asked about distances from the other projects, specifically the proximity to Tinker, Albert Street. And the reason I ask is my conversations, I don't know if it has true bearing, but the proximity could affect Mass Housing's decision, because if it adversely affects one side of town and produces all the housing in that one area, services over that area, congestion. Again, Route 20 is pretty heavily trafficked, but we have every 6 weeks a new housing unit going on, which is going to go right by Appleton intersection. So I didn't know if there's an actual ruling on proximity, but during my discussions at the site walk, proximity was brought up.
We do have, through the chair, we do have the distances that you had recommended. I do not believe, we can look at an analysis on the two on that side of town, because I think those are the closest together. But we do have those distances, and we can include those in here, and the impact of having that increased traffic along that area as well.
Correct. And that's, again, the traffic counts or whatever they're going to do don't take into account every 6 weeks new process or buildings coming online on that side. So just want to make sure that's covered in here as well. And again, I don't know what that threshold is, but increased burden less than I don't, again, I don't know
Good
the
point.
exact distance.
It's close. I think it's within a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile. It's very close.
It's two intersections
Yeah.
away, so.
Thank you. Good point.
You may want to talk to the school department to see if they have to shuffle, depending on what the school population is, because one side goes to PAC, the other side goes to a different trio of schools. So that might be something they want to weigh in on as well, that there may not be capacity at either location necessarily, and I know the state is probably going to poo-poo that, but I think it's important that they understand that these are not NIMBY issues. These are actually, this does affect health. If you have people crowded in a room, it affects health. It also creates stress, anxiety. They just did a whole huge thing on vulnerable users and changing the crash report. I think most of these developments are kind of could be a wonderful case study in how not have your crash report involve pedestrians and other vulnerable users on our street. So there does seem at the state level to be a disconnect between their own planning. Here we had this huge push to change the crash for vulnerable users because they wanted better, reporting. They went through a great deal of expense and time to do that. And I'm sure Chief Lemon or somebody over there can probably wax far more clearly on it than I. But, these are critical areas where we are putting pedestrians at risk.
Are there any additional comments, questions?
Just make a motion that we include those comments or ask the manager to follow up on those comments and include them in the letter as appropriate.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, the chair is a yes as well. Will you be bringing back a revised letter to us will we have enough time?
No, the due date is next week, so we won't
Okay.
have another meeting, but I will send it to each one of you, and I'll put it on the next agenda so that it's public, but it will be already sent in at that point.
Sure, thank you.
Can you put it on the website too, once it's finalized?
Absolutely.
Just so that the residents can see it and other interested parties
Absolutely.
might be interested in seeing it as well. Thank you.
That's a good point. Thank you for that. We're moving along to 9B.
Thank you. Through the chair, we received a letter from Governor Healy and the Lieutenant Governor regarding a new commitment for Chapter 90 apportionment for fiscal year '26. It's up considerably from last year, $924,905. And it looks like there's going to be a 5-year commitment. I'm sure it'll have to be approved each year. But we're pretty excited about this increase in Chapter 90 funding. It is part of her $1.5 billion program funding over 5 years for all Mass municipalities, and I believe it's done by a formula-based. So I'm excited to say that it does have a very good impact on us and the ability to do additional work on our roadways.
Do board members have questions?
I want to make a note that usually we receive $600,000. So to receive almost 925 million is really, is a good plus.
So, Madam Chair, I just want to note that this is preliminary on the governor's proposal. This has not passed the House and the Senate, so we do not have this money yet. This is her proposal.
That is correct.
So I just want to make sure everybody, I know we read that letter, but anyone listening who thinks that this is a done deal. It still has to pass the House and the Senate, and the Speaker and the Senate President have not said whether they are supportive yet of this. But I'm hopeful that this money comes to fruition, and I'm hopeful that we will take advantage of this extra money this year and hopefully over the next 4 years to really look at our pavement management program and to start incorporating some newer techniques to extend the life of our roadways, as well as, including permanent patches, not simply filling potholes, but actually doing a permanent patch program, to take care of those chronic locations that we are filling year after year, storm after storm. So hopefully DPW is going to take a serious, hard look at the way we're doing pavement management and improve it.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, we're moving along to 9C. Thank you.
Thank you. So you have in front of you the Auburn Youth and Family Services Client Satisfaction Survey. This is for informational purposes only for the board. As part of the annual contract with the town and Auburn Youth, they are required to conduct customer satisfaction surveys, both on the counseling side with the schools, as well as some of the other services that they provide in terms of food pantry and clothing. So this survey is for the clinical services only. We want to thank Ama Asma, who was an intern with Auburn Youth and Family Services. She's an Anna Maria student studying psychology, and she put this survey together and conducted the survey and gathered the results. They had, because it's the school counselors and some of the school staff doing the survey, you'll see, you may see, we asked this question, they have a response of like 5 or 6 people, but it only goes out to about 8 or 10. So the actual response on this survey was very high because it is a smaller group on who it's going out to. So the return on the survey was actually very high. So as you can see, Auburn Youth did very well in terms of the services, and we just want to thank Auburn Youth for what they do.
Thank you so much. Do board members have any questions? Okay, we're going to move along to 9D.
Thank you. Through the chair, the pre-town meeting has been scheduled for April 29th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We'll be posting that on all of our social media sites, online, different areas throughout town, and all of the representatives will be notified as well.
What location will this be held?
It'll be held here in this room.
Sure.
Can we just create, and I know I'm like loving the new pages, but can we create a pre-town meeting page and put what we have, like the budget and everything, just so we can give town meeting members a lot of extra time to kind of dig into these things? And then, any notification, just making sure that we identify, they can call the office with any questions if they can't make the meeting. Obviously, it's going to be taped, but recorded, just so that they're aware that, it's good to, the budget's pretty big. There's a lot on the warrant, and whatever we can do to give them a little heads up would be welcome.
No problem.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay, so we have no tabled items. We have no member items. This is the second public comment. Let me just check and see if anybody else has signed up for it. Yeah, absolutely. If you, oh, sorry. Sir, if you'd like to come up to, there's a sign-up sheet behind you, but if you just want to put your name on this one up here. Did you want a public comment?
I guess at the time, I didn't get a chance to sign in.
Oh, yeah, please, by all means. We have a second public comment, so
right up here,
you're
on
welcome
the
to sign up
tables.
up here.
Comment about the Athens Street project, or just general?
You can comment about the Athens Street project, or you can comment on any general item that you would like.
appreciate that.
Absolutely. So just your name and your address?
Sure. Dave Holness. I'm from Athens Street. Been at the last couple meetings. Thank you guys for your service to the community. I appreciate you guys reiterating some of the concerns. I just wanted to just touch base with you guys just to make sure that you are in receipt of the collection of concerns that was organized by Amber on the street. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to check back in and just see if you guys were able to access the list of concerns that my neighbor Amber put together and submitted, because it is kind of more representative of the community, in addition to the comments that were made at the last meeting. Sorry.
I do have it. It will be attached to the letter that we send to the state.
Awesome. One other question of just issues and concerns, just with respect to the sightlines on Appleton where it meets Athens, the little dip that happens between Appleton and the Hertz rental car. This time of day, maybe a little bit earlier on the way here, the route runs, east-west. The sun sets directly over it, and that spot was even more crazy just today with just like the sunset. I don't really ever go out coincidentally at that time, but if you're trying to make a right onto that road with the way the sun sets there, it is completely invisible if somebody's in that dip. And then the second they just come right back up out of it, you don't have enough time. There was also just a concern about the pending definition of safety with respect to the standards in which they kind of govern these 40Bs. I was just wondering if you guys have any progress with respect to that, like getting a definition of what the thresholds are for safety.
This isn't really a Q&A. We can address the concerns in the letter to the state, but if you have additional concerns that you'd like, you can call the town manager's office.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much. Oh, sure. And I believe we have someone online for public comment. If you could just give us your name and your address.
Hi, this is Amber Fonts from 5 Athens Street. Dave addressed my concern. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get through. I've never joined remotely before, so he did just ask my question about the email that I had sent to Dory with the outlined concerns of the neighborhood for people that were not able to attend the meeting last time. So I appreciate that that is also going to be included.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions? Seeing none, we have meeting minutes in our packet for January. Are there any corrections or changes? I will accept them as read. We will just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The chair is yes as well. Sorry,
This conference is no longer being recorded.
okay. Yeah, we are adjourned. Thank you.